Hi Fragheads, it's Joanna, and today I'm talking about my favorite holiday destinations in a bottle as a continuation of a video that I made, I think, last week, and I was just surprised with how many positive comments I received in that video. If you haven't watched that video yet, I'm gonna link it down below because that basically started like my top 8 travel destinations. Basically, the beginning of all these travel destinations is based from that video. So you have to watch that one in order to relate more in this video. This topic is very, very close to my heart as travel is one of my biggest passions as well. Maybe I think it's my number one passion, actually, aside from perfumes and makeup. Guys, I mentioned in that video that I had 23 or 24 destinations on my list, and now I have 30. So this topic will definitely be a series in my channel. Maybe I will do like 2 more videos related to this topic. So now, without further ado, let's get to those holiday destinations in a bottle. Boracay. And yes, that is my 9th destination. First of all, the beach and the white sand in Boracay is something that is so unique and special. I've been to so many beaches around the world, and I must say, when it comes to beach, white sand, and the sunset view, nothing beats Boracay. And also, that is where I got married in 2015. I got married in Shangri-La, Boracay, and of course, because of that, Boracay will always be special to my heart. And the perfume that I chose to represent Boracay is my wedding scent. And this is English Pear and Freesia. This perfume is very special to me because this is the scent that reminds me of my wedding day. This perfume is heavy in pear and freesia, of course. I do get some rose, and it has a patchouli and amber in the base. So to me, this actually lasts for a long time. It was really hot in the island, and it's not just hot, it's also humid, and this perfume lasted on me. I didn't really respray often as far as I remember, because anyway, I was so busy, you know how weddings are. But this one really stayed. I think the patchouli, the amber, and the musk in the base made this perfume last a bit longer, at least on my skin. It's really, really beautiful. This perfume will always be in my collection. And as a matter of fact, we traveled to Boracay several times, even after our wedding. And I always bring this fragrance. This is Boracay scent to me. Yeah, so that is English Pear and Freesia by Jo Malone, my wedding scent. The next destination is a country, actually, in general, because I think that this is one of the most unique countries as well that I visited in my life, aside from Iceland, and it's Japan. It's definitely a country that I want to revisit again with our kids. There is just something about Japan that is so unique and mesmerizing. Japan for me has a lot of highlights. Cherry blossoms, their very unique Disneyland. I've been to 3 Disneylands, and I must say that the Disneyland in Japan is in a different level. Japanese food, any Japanese beauty products, I love them all. Anyway, I have two perfumes here to represent Japan because it was very hard. Japan, for me, has like two different faces, okay? Of course, the first one is cherry blossom. We visited Japan on a holiday while there was cherry blossom. And of course, after that, I had several flights to Japan as well. I will always remember Japan during cherry blossom. And the perfume that I chose to represent that is, of course, a cherry blossom perfume. And this one is from Floris. And I've tried several cherry blossom fragrances, and I must say that this is the closest one to the cherry blossom scent. This one smells like very delicate and beautiful cherry blossom mixed with osmanthus and peonies, I think. So the florals in here are just delicate and very pretty. Definitely reminds me of cherry blossom season in Japan. And also this fragrance has a cherry note as well that is so beautiful. That cherry note amped up the cherryness of this fragrance. But then, you know, it is still more of the cherry blossom. That's why I love it. Longevity is not that great. Lasts around 4 to 6 hours, but it sits closer to the skin. So that is Cherry Blossom by Floris to represent cherry blossoms in Japan. And aside from cherry blossom, it reminds me as well of such a unique and modern city called Tokyo. Tokyo for me is just a different kind of modern city. Of course, there's a lot of modern cities around the world, but Tokyo's vibe is different. I don't know why, but if I have to represent Tokyo in a perfume, I think of something modern and florals. So what I chose is Lady Whitesnake by Stephane Humbert Lucas. And of course, if you're watching my channel, this is my current favorite floral fragrance. Just because it is so intoxicating, yet very sexy and modern. Just like Tokyo, guys. This is very heavy in all the white flowers that you can imagine, like tuberose, jasmine. However, it has that white leather in the base that is just blended into perfection with all those florals and the honeysuckle note as well that made this fragrance very unique and captivating to my nose. So I chose Lady Whitesnake to represent the vibrant and modern vibe of Tokyo, Japan. Next up is a destination that I want to visit as well with our kids. Definitely I want to go back with our kids to experience the safari that we did. And I'm talking about Massai Mara in Kenya. We went to Massai Mara to experience the migration of animals, you know. So basically we saw how animals moved from Maasai Mara, which is in Kenya, to Serengeti in Tanzania. We literally followed them. So it was such a heartwarming experience, I think, that I will never forget. We did a hot air balloon while watching the animals just run, and guys, it was so surreal. I felt like I was in a National Geographic series or something. That to me is just so special. I will never forget that moment. I even cried. And the perfume that I chose to represent that moment or that destination is Santal Vanille by The Seven Virtues. Basically, this perfume is very heavy in sandalwood, cardamom, and coconut. Sandalwood is my favorite note in a fragrance, and this perfume has a perfect amount of coconut creaminess and spiciness from cardamom. I love this fragrance because it just hits me differently. Wearing this fragrance automatically makes me feel excited, happy, yet focused and calm. Exactly what I felt when I witnessed the animals running around. Yeah, so I chose this perfume. This is also my favorite fragrance from the Seven Virtues and one of my favorite sandalwood fragrances as well in my collection. Yeah, that is Santal Vanille by the Seven Virtues, and this one has a moderate longevity and projection. Next destination is a city in South Africa, and I consider it as unforgettable because it is one of the very first destinations that I visited when I was still flying for an airline. And I will never forget when I was in the bus going to the hotel. The scenery was just so breathtaking that it really struck on me. I will never forget, after I visited this destination, I told myself like, wow, this is one of the most beautiful places that I've ever seen. You have to visit it to understand what I am talking about, or probably you've visited it already, or maybe I have viewers from South Africa who's watching. So yeah, you probably understand when I say how breathtakingly beautiful Cape Town, South Africa is. Yeah, so that is the destination. Cape Town, South Africa. Beautiful scenery, amazing food and wine, one of my most favorite destinations. And the perfume that I chose to represent it is Sunshine by Amouage. Why? Because this fragrance just basically gives me the vibe of sunshine. It makes me feel happy. The color of the bottle basically represents the vibe of this fragrance. This fragrance is fruity. I think it's pear and apricot that is in here. It has this white tobacco note that is very unique, separates it from other fruity fragrances that I've tried. It has a creaminess as well. I'm not sure if this one has sandalwood, but I'm getting that creaminess and the apricot that just smells so good. The white tobacco in here is giving this fragrance like a slight smokiness as well. Such a beautiful and unique scent. Definitely reminds me of the vibe of Cape Town, South Africa. Next destination is somewhere very beachy and sunny, and I'm talking about Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Wow. Rio was one of my most requested flights as well when I was still working as a flight attendant. I love the vibe of that city. I remember the first time that I visited Rio when our bus was passing by the Copacabana beach. There is like a beach workout station, and you guys, I haven't seen such beautiful and fit people in my life. Okay, Brazilians are just so hot and gorgeous. I'll never forget those good looking men and women by the beach working out, walking in the streets as well, just with their bikinis. And what I mean by bikinis is like a ton bikini. You know how curvaceous Brazilians are as well. Yeah, wow. If you haven't been to Rio, you definitely have to visit that destination. And yeah, what else? It has a beautiful sunset as well, and just the vibe. I remember like having caipirinhas by the beach, and I'm talking about not a fancy caipirinha, okay? It is just like, you know, those stalls by the beach. My favorite was a passion fruit flavored caipirinha. That one was very nice. Okay, I need to focus in this video because otherwise it's going to be a travel video. Okay, I have to stop. The perfume that I chose to represent Rio de Janeiro is Zeena by Khalis. This is a Middle Eastern perfume that is basically a dupe of Angel Eye Star that is now discontinued. And wow, this perfume is so good. This is basically pineapple with very creamy coconut and peach fragrance with sandalwood as well, I think, in the base, and musk. Oh my god, this smells like pina colada to me, and this is definitely the vibe of Rio de Janeiro. You know, something very relaxed and fun. A perfume that you can wear from the beach to street parties. Zeena definitely gives me that Rio de Janeiro vibe. Love this. This is like one of my most favorite discoveries as well this year from a Middle Eastern brand. Yeah, highly recommend this. Zeena by Khalis to represent Rio de Janeiro. Next destination to me is the most romantic city that I've ever been. I know people always choose Paris as the city of love, but to me, it's Venice in Italy. There's just something about that destination that makes me think of Casanova and romance, or like just simply falling in love. I've been there several times as well, and I wouldn't mind to go back with the love of my life. And the perfume that I chose to represent Venice is something that I don't own now, but I used to own, and it is Chanel Chance Autant. Oh my god. I remember maybe I finished like 2 bottles of that perfume years ago, and I mean like 10 years ago. I used to wear it in flights and on layovers, and I will never forget that I was wearing it in my first or like second visit in Venice. And guys, the compliments that I received from the Italian gondola men are wow, bella, bella, you smell good. Anyway, this is not just from gondola men. I think that perfume in general is loved by most men. It is one of my most complimented perfumes. I think that men just love that because it is such a pretty girl scent. And it's not just a pretty girl scent. To me, it smells very romantic. If you've tried Chanel Chance, you know what I mean. I think that if I have a fragrance to recommend to someone who's going on a first date, I think Chanel Chance Autant will be it. Now that I'm talking about it, I feel like I have to add it back into my collection. I think the reason why I stopped using it is that a lot of cabin crew started to use it as well. So I stopped because it was like that good, and during that time I think it was at its peak. Yeah, definitely Chanel Chance Autant to represent the most romantic city, which is Venice in Italy. Next up is a destination that I think is very underrated. To me, it is such a beautiful beautiful destination that is not that talked about in the travel community, I think. Slovenia. And I'm talking about Slovenia as a country. If you love nature and European vibes, you just have to visit Slovenia, okay? Definitely underrated, that needs to be explored. I will never forget a hike that we did there, and we had the view of Lake Bled. Wow, wow. It was just so beautiful. And aside from Lake Bled, there are so many stops that we did that were just captivating. And yeah, anyway, I don't want to ramble too much. The perfume that represents Slovenia to me is Creme de Cuir by BDK. I don't have a bottle yet, and it's on my wish list. I chose Creme de Cuir because it is such an underrated BDK fragrance, and it is so beautiful. I'll never forget when I made a video about underrated gems. Even you guys commented that you think Creme de Cuir is a masterpiece. And I agree. I haven't smelled anything like it. It smelled so, so beautiful. To my nose, it is very heavy in sandalwood. However, it has this leather that just radiates on my skin like no other. It lasts as well. And yeah, that perfume just needs to get more love. And I know BDK has their very famous Rouge Smoking, Gris Chanel, and Pas ce Soir, but after discovering Creme de Cuir, I think it is my new favorite from the brand and not Pas ce Soir anymore. Yeah, so I chose Creme de Cuir by BDK to represent the underrated, beautiful country of Slovenia. Okay, the last destination for this video is my last adventure before I resigned from flying. It is a destination that I went with my husband and closest friends. We did an adventure hike in Patagonia, Chile. And it was such a beautiful experience. We did, I think, 4 or 5 days hike adventure in Patagonia. And even though I read things about Patagonia, I never thought that it will be actually quite tough, I must say. It wasn't just like a simple hike. It was a tough one, well, at least for me. And the perfume that I chose to represent Patagonia is Book by Commodity. Why? Basically, this just reminds me of the forest in such a calming and content way as well. I'll never forget that each day we were reaching a summit while we were doing that adventure hike, and basically this is just the smell of the forest to me. It is very woody. This one is very heavy in cedar, rosewood, and sandalwood. But what makes this a bit different is that it has that eucalyptus note that contributed to the chill vibe of this fragrance. And basically, for me, any hiking always ends up with a calm and chill vibe. And yeah, that is what Book by Commodity makes me feel. Definitely reminds me of that beautiful adventure that I did with my friends and husband just before resigning. It is just very special to me and unforgettable as well. Yeah, so that is Book by Commodity to represent Patagonia in Chile. Okay, so that is the video for today, guys. Another 8 destinations, and I really try not to talk too much about my travel experience as I really wanted this to be 50-50, like travel and perfume related. So I hope that I delivered that to you. How did you find it? Do you like these destinations as well? Have you been there? Or do I have followers from the destinations that I mentioned? Please write me in the comments down below. So far, I'm really enjoying this content of my beautiful experiences and memories from these special destinations. Who knows, maybe one day I can create my own perfume brand and make perfumes that are inspired by these travel destinations. What do you think? Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about watching this kind of video. I'm curious how it makes you feel. You know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And see you on my next one. Bye!